Welcome back to FlashPoint, everyone. Thanks for joining us. If you're just now joining us, we're with Congressman Richard Hudson. There's one issue that has been topping the news headlines, even here in Charlotte, and that's the heroin abuse issue. People are abusing heroin in ways that is unexpected. Talk to me about this roundtable that you hosted back in April with a tie between prescription drug misuse and abuse and heroin abuse. What did you learn from this roundtable?
Well, I put this roundtable together after we heard testimony in Washington at the Energy and Commerce Committee about this epidemic and about the way it's touching people all over the country. And as you say, it's a real epidemic. It's a real tragedy. And what's happening is folks are getting hooked on opioids, these prescription drugs, and a lot of times it's young people going in their parents' closet or
medicine cabinet.
But people getting their hands on these prescription drugs and then abusing them, and then one of these pills can cost you $40 a pill, but heroin $10 a pop. And so what happens is these folks get hooked on these opium-based prescription drugs, and then they find the heroin is much cheaper and easier to get in some cases, and so that's why the heroin epidemic is out of control, and we've got a real problem here in Charlotte. And it's not just Charlotte. We've been talking to the district attorney in Union County about doing a similar program in Union County where they're seeing a lot of problems, and what my approach was, let's bring all the folks together who have anything to do with this. It's the treatment folks with CMS, it's the law enforcement, it's Mayor Claude Felcher hosted the event with me to talk about how do we bring the resources to bear to deal with this epidemic?
One of the other issues that I know stays on people's minds, and it's certainly been a headline, education and Common Core. You just voted to end Washington's mandate on Common Core and to end the No Child Left Behind policies that have been in place since 2002. Talk to us about giving states back some of that control of education.
Well, that's the key to education improvements and innovation, is to allow states and local communities to make decisions instead of having some nameless, faceless bureaucrat in Washington designing some one-size-fits-all program. Students here in Charlotte may have different needs than folks up in Weaverville, North Carolina, or in New York City or LA. And I trust the communities to know what their kids need and to be able to innovate and come up with new ideas and use the money in the ways that best benefit their children. And so I would have liked to have seen us go a lot farther in taking control out of Washington completely and let states and local folks make these kind of decisions when it comes to curriculum, when it comes to any of these type of decisions. And frankly, if Cabarrus County Schools wants to adopt Common Core, they can have at it. That's up to the school board and the community and the parents and teachers. But on them was what I've stood up against.
We've covered a lot, and I want to jump in on this one. Roy Cooper, who's running for governor here in North Carolina, he's currently our Attorney General. He came out wanting people who are on the no-fly list to not be able to get guns, and you said that he's taking that too far and infringing on people's rights. How to explain that to me and where your position falls when it comes to the no-fly list and guns.
Absolutely. Well, I was shocked that Roy Cooper joined President Obama in calling for taking away our Second Amendment rights with absolutely no due process. The no-fly list is a subset of the terror watch list. The terror watch list is designed for law enforcement to be able to monitor people and to keep us safe. But there's no due process in getting someone on that list. It just takes a bureaucrat nominating someone if they think they might be a terrorist, if they might know a terrorist, if their name sounds like a terrorist name, if they might be a neighbor to someone we suspect to be a terrorist. I mean, these are some pretty thin burdens of proof, but they're important if we want to track people and keep track. And so, I haven't come out against doing that in terms of a terrorist watch list or a no-fly list. And a no-fly list has a little bit more scrutiny because the question there is, who are the people that we think might cause enough of a risk that we don't want to put them on airplanes? But what Roy Cooper said, he wasn't even talking about the no-fly list, which has a little bit of scrutiny. He's talking about the big, massive, could be 1 million people on this list that any bureaucrat can nominate you to, and saying we're going to take away the Second Amendment rights of these people. And that just goes too far. I mean, that's a constitutional right. I mean, imagine if I wanted to tell you I'm going to take away your First Amendment rights based on any bureaucrat nominating you, and then you can go to court and try to get your rights back. What if I want to take away your due process rights? That's absurd. And so, I'm not sure. And frankly, the Attorney General knows better. And really, to me, this is a red herring issue. This is an issue to distract us from the real problem of terrorism and use that watch list when you buy a gun. I heard one of your guests a couple of weeks ago say it's easier to buy a gun than to buy Sudafed. Well, I was shouting at the TV. That's not true. If you're going to buy a gun here in Charlotte, if I go to Hyatt's gun shop and I'm going to buy a gun from Larry Hyatt, he's going to run a background check on me through ATF, and they run me through the NCIC system. They also run my name against domestic abuse list. They run me against a mental health background check, and they also run through a subset of the terror watch list. And if my name pings on the terror watch list, Larry Hyatt on the phone is told by ATF, inform your customer that they have a 3-day wait and they'll have to come back. And that's all Larry knows. And then Larry tells me you have a 3-day wait. But what happens then is the National Counterterrorism Center is notified. Richard Hudson's on the terror watch list. He's trying to buy a gun in Charlotte, North Carolina right now. They then notify the FBI. So the FBI has 3 days to investigate me and determine whether I'm actually a threat or not. So that process is already in place, and Roy Cooper knows that. And so I think this is just a red herring issue to try to distract us from the fact that President Obama hasn't done the right job in keeping us safe from terrorists.
And we have more with Congressman Hudson coming up right after the break. Stick with us.
Cable's out.